Joe Walker here, Yonah Mountain Farms. It is Wednesday, July 2nd, about 6:28 in the morning. We are getting an early start this morning, trying to get out here and beat this heat. It's supposed to hit about 90 degrees today. We had some pretty serious storms this morning. So as always, we're pretty excited to get the day going. Got a lot to do today. Holly's got to make her local deliveries to Northeast Georgia, locallygrown.net, which is probably one of the best places to get your groceries, because all those growers there are chemical free. So all the produce guys, they are legit organic. So, you know, not this organic mess that's, you know, these guys, you know, most of them are not certified organic, but you know, a lot of them are certified naturally grown. So these guys don't use chemicals. They're legit. And the guy who runs that little local co-op, I mean, he actually comes to the farm and visits and talks to the farmers and knows their practices, which personally I greatly appreciate. There's just not enough of that at these, you know, these local markets or co-ops. You know, we're all about know your farmer, know your food. But anyhow, we're heading to the farm. Got a lot to do today. I plan on recording as much as I can. You know, I tried to do this yesterday too, and ended up, you know, it ends up like pretty difficult. Kind of tough to record and get all the work done at the same time, but I'll do my best. As of right now, the plan is I definitely have to get the goats and sheep moved, and kind of got to figure that out. I got to get the cows moved, and this will be at the third lease. Obviously got to move the broilers, got to gather eggs. I need to go get feed. And but anyhow, let me pause this. We're hitting paved road, so we'll pick it up here in a little bit. Thanks, guys. All right, well, actually, I just remembered I'm supposed to drop off some eggs for a customer here in the neighborhood. So let me back this up and get back to the house and grab 3 dozen eggs for one of our neighbors. From one dirt road to the next. We got a lot of rain last night, pretty foggy down here in these bottoms. But that's all right, we're gonna get wet this morning, that's for sure. We're gonna roll up to the farm and start snatching up netting as quick as we can, and get these goats and sheep moved. That's the game plan. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so here we go. We are gonna try to get this done. I gotta jump out here and move these shelters for the broilers. I'm gonna go ahead and put this bad boy in. We're gonna just go 4-wheel high. Just because it's wet. So yeah, there's the broiler paddock this morning. We're gonna ride out here. I got some, let's see, I got 2 nettings over here. Broilers are out doing their thing. No, I'm not even gonna have to feed them today because I filled up those feeders yesterday and they're still pretty small. So they're not gonna eat, but we do gotta go get some feed. So I got 2 nettings here, and I know I got some out there, so let me pause this, hop out and grab these nettings. All got the nettings. Now I don't know if y'all remember, but this is where we started with the goats and the sheep combined, and all that really thick Johnson grass. Look how much it's recovered. So there's like a ton of leaves on this Johnson grass, which is okay, you know. I mean, that's fine. Like, our idea of pasture is not something that's mowed down to the ground. You know, this is actually going to be great forage. So it's stressed right now because of the grazing. So it's producing prussic acid. So we don't want to put the cows on, or the goats or anything, right back on this, because that prussic acid can be lethal. So we'll let this fully recover, and before long it'll be just as thick as it was, and then we'll put the cows on here. So it'll just keep on growing. But we're gonna roll out here to the sheep and goats, which I'm sure they are all tucked in the barn that we've been giving them for shelter. And I just want to grab this other netting I got right here, and we'll probably go ahead and dump out their water trough real quick. But yeah, we're just gonna get this going. I think this is the only free netting, but yeah, they've done a job here, so time to move on. I'm gonna pause this, grab this netting, grab this water trough, and head to the other side of the big barn and start setting up their paddock. Okay, I'm here, so I got the netting, and because I'm here, I might as well just go ahead and move these shelters. That's basically all I have to do for the broilers today. That and fill up their rain barrel. I will be moving the bigger water tote. Actually, I'll probably leave it right here, but I will be attaching that bigger water tote here within the next couple of days to start watering them with that. All right, so just want to show y'all real quick. There were a couple of dead ones this morning. That's not unusual, but we went on ahead and moved the shelters. I mean, it stormed last night pretty bad. We got a lot of rain. These birds are young, and you know, you got livestock, you got dead stock, as the saying goes. But I just want to show y'all, they obviously piled under two of these shelters. So a little bit under this third one, and then not much at all under the other three. So and that's because they're small. So they'll spread out during the day and get the shade where they need to get it, and then at night it's a little cooler, and especially last night with the rain, that caused them to all huddle under the two shelters, and very well could be why two of them were dead this morning. But anyhow, that's how it goes. Let's get over here and get these goats moved. I got the water filling up. That'll only take a few minutes. By the time I pull around the other side of the barn, we'll probably be able to cut that water off and set up the goat paddock. All right, I did not hear the fence clicking when I went and checked on the birds. So we're gonna see if I got any juice on here. 2.6, 2.7. That is very low. And my guess would be because it's all grounding out from the moisture. Not too concerned about it. We'll check it again after it dries out a little bit. All right, so just to kind of bring everybody up to speed, we separated the cattle from the sheep and goats. I was really pleased with how that was working, but it was getting kind of difficult for the shade. So, and plus it's just like way easier to move the cows when they're on a single poly braid. So we recently gave them a massive paddock, and because this land is so degraded, there's not a whole lot of grass up here. I mean, this area of the farm probably had some of the most grass, but it's still not a lot. So we gave these cows a fairly large paddock, and now my plan is to come through and hit it real hard with the goats and the sheep. And so the first thing I have to do is move the cows, so I'm going to run them into another large paddock. And plus they've been having babies, so we've actually got two babies have been born. There's the second one. The first one is in this mess of a barn, so I have to clean this up, get all this trash out of here, get the cows moved, and then set up a netting for the goats. Let's see if we can get a better shot of this baby. So yeah, they come in here and destroyed everything. Of course, I had some trash. I just need to get that up. But there is the other baby. And so now we're going to use this for shelter for the sheep and the goats. Come on, cows. Scoop! All right, that took a lot longer than expected. But there's the new calf. New baby calf. Y'all come on. And reason being is because I gave them so much to eat last time. You better go on, baby. These calves can be the worst. You better go follow mama. Everybody's leaving. There you go. I think that's a boy, yep. So a couple boys born on the farm. Nice. Yeah, new pasture. So we got the cows over here. They got another large paddock. I'll give them this for 2 or 3 days. And we're about to start running the goats and the sheep through the rest of this, which is pretty thick. Lots of briars, which the cows, they don't really touch the briars, but the goats and the sheep will. This is a nice stand of barnyard grass. So you can see that seed head up there. I think it's interesting. They consider all this stuff weeds, but it's a grass, and the cows love it. But who considers it weeds are the farmer, the corn and soy guys. You know, of course it's a weed to them, but you know, put a cow on there. Anyhow, cows moved. Time to start setting up this sheep and goat paddock. Before I set that up, I got to drop this mineral feeder where it goes in the new paddock. All right, and now we have to run our spool back across to the perimeter fence over there to make what was their front fence has now become their back fence, and we got to make that hot. So we have to cross this treacherous bridge of death here. So you can't tell, but there's a ditch under here. It's a drainage ditch. I think I've shot some videos in the past about the goats managing it, cleaning it out. Well, obviously it needs cleaning out again. So, and the goats ain't gonna go in here because of this water. So there's the Here's what we got to cross here to get to the other side. Yeah, definitely need to get this fixed and make it more traversable, if that's the word. But anyhow, we're going to walk through here and make this hut. And all this is what the goats and the sheep will be getting here in just a few minutes. About this reel. So this is just a Walmart extension cord reel. We use pretty much whatever we can. So whatever we got. These are about $7. Yeah, so these are about $7 from Walmart, and they work. They last a few years before they degrade and turn to nothing. But when you're bootstrap operation and you don't have a lot of excess money, you buy what you can. And we do have some of those high dollar $50, $60 reels. We bought those when we could, but these will get you by in a pinch. So that's what we're using now. I'm gonna pause this, get it wrapped around this hot wire, and show y'all what that looks like. So there you have it, 3 wraps. I'm gonna tie, make it tight. This can just sit on the ground. And now I'll use a couple of my tread end posts to tighten this on up. So I'll use one right here. Pull it nice and tight. Get a lot of tension on there. And then we got one more. And so yeah, the cows got plenty to eat in here. They had plenty to eat in the last one. We really could use a lot more cows out here to manage this during the growing season. But we are working with what we got, and you know, the herd will grow organically, and you know, we'll eventually get where we need to be. But cattle are a long-term game. It really just doesn't make sense to, especially right now with the cattle prices as high as they are, to just go out and buy a bunch of cows. You know, when we've used a lot of different techniques to develop our herd. I've done a lot of custom grazing. That's kind of how we got our bull, and almost across. Hey, let me get this turned around so you can see who you're talking to. Joe Walker here, Yonah Mountain Farms. It is Thursday, July 3rd. Tomorrow's Independence Day, and about 7 p.m. and I'm here on the third lease. There's been a lot of stuff going on. basically, I started shooting, I don't know, yesterday I think, or the day before, with the intentions of bringing y'all along for a full day. Well, a full day it was. I don't know, ended up being, you know, a typical 12 to 14 hour day. But anyhow, kind of wanted to catch up. So what's going on? I actually ran this massive paddock. So as you can see, what we're coming into is extremely thick, tall brush. This really ain't so bad. As we cross this drainage ditch here, this is when it gets real bad as far as just, I mean, don't get me wrong, when I say real bad, I mean like real bad to walk through or whatever. But there's a ton of forage in here, a ton of grass, tremendous amount of diversity. But so basically what I'm doing is I just cut the water off. I had to run, I don't know, 300 or so feet of hose to be able to water these goats. And what we're dealing with at the moment is lack of shade. So I had to get the goats access to shade. And this particular area of the farm, the goats and the sheep, I'm sorry, this particular area of the farm, my only option in order to hit it hard, so in order to run a tight paddock, which is the only way we're going to get the disturbance we need to basically smash all these briars down, is to run this entire herd into a really tight paddock. So in order to do that, I had to get them all the way back in this corner. From way up there by the barn, they were actually in the upper pasture, which is, this is approximately 800 and something feet. So, you know, these animals aren't trained. They're not just going to follow me or anything. You know, they're pretty much wild. I mean, honestly, we don't really spend the time. I mean, I keep them moving. They'll come when I call them to some extent, and they know that it's time to move. But if I were to try to just lead them from way up there, especially through all of this, what is scrumptious forage for them, they're just going to drift, man. They're going to go wherever. They're going to be like, oh, whatever, we're not following you anymore. So I essentially had to run an 11 netting paddock, and I wanted to start them back here because there's actually shade. This is the corner. That's the creek bank right there. There's lots of trees. There's plenty of shade in this back paddock. So what we're going to do is hit this real hard, and this is small. There's over 75 head of small ruminants, combo sheep and goats. And this paddock is about 63,000 square foot based on my measurements from counting the spaces between the posts and multiplying that together. It is a diagonal. I basically just put it online and was able to come up with the area through Google. But this is basically just over 1/8 of an acre, so this is real tight. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter how tight it is. I mean, it does for the fact of being able to get the traffic on it. But I mean, there's a tremendous amount of forage. I mean, these guys are going to tear this up. And being that it is so late, it's a perfect opportunity for me to make sure that I'm not giving them too little, because I will be back here first thing in the morning. So like I said, it's 7 o'clock now. It'll be getting dark soon. The sun's setting. It'll be getting dark soon, about 8:30, and these guys are going to bed down for the night. So I probably will not move them tomorrow, but I will be here. I will be here bright and early in the morning to check on it to see if we need to move them. And the cool thing about having this lane already set up is that now they'll keep this area for the duration of this entire 800 plus foot lane. So I'll move this. I'll actually set up another front fence based on how they perform here, on the level of disturbance that I get here over so many hours, I'll determine I want to give them, only enough for 24 hours. So we'll set up our next front fence based on what we see here, and then I'll just open that, and then they'll always be able to retreat back to the shade. And that way they're constantly grazing high, so we won't have to worry about parasites, and they'll be able to come back to the shade. And it's going to take, I would imagine, more than 3 days to cover this entire lane back to the barn, but that's okay because we're going to open up that new section every day, and then we'll basically just set it up, which I won't have to run 11 netting paddock next time. It'll be more like 5 or 6 to run the full length back up there, and we'll be able to do the same thing to cover this really hard to reach spot. And the only reason it is hard, it's not necessarily hard to reach, it's hard to manage with a very small paddock. So with a management intensive grazing strategy, which is really small paddock, frequent moves. So yeah, this will end up resting for quite a while. The cows actually had this first, so I don't know if I even did a video or whatnot, but I'm gonna basically just kind of put all this together. So I got a couple videos. I want to say they're from yesterday. I don't know, but that's kind of why I say the dates all the time. And here, let me walk while I'm talking so we can see. This isn't, it's a very small paddock, and they are tightly condensed in here, but there's plenty to eat. Y'all can see this. There's plenty to eat. There is lots of grass underneath these briars, and the goats are going to be the main ones to hit these briars. And actually, these briars are going to help. A lot of these hair sheep haven't completely shed out. These briars are going to help them shed out. A lot of their hair will be getting caught on here, and then yeah, hopefully we'll be able to open this up, let these warm season grasses just take off, and then the cows will be back on here. But anyhow, I have to get to the other farm because we finally got the other flock of chickens sold. We're going to load them up at night because that's the best time they're going to sleep. So 8:30 tonight, I'll have the whole crew. My oldest son, Big Nate Dog, will be out here, and maybe we'll get some footage loading up all these birds and getting them off of the other lease at the Stovall house. So thanks for watching. Catch y'all later.